Soulwind TV presents.
Faith and Hope with Sweet Tea and Sass, encouraging couples to reconnect with God and with each other so they can live their happily ever after too.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Sweet Tea
and Sass.
So for this month, like we said last week, we're going to be speaking on loyalty, what it means to be loyal. Last week, we talked about being loyal to yourself. Well, this week, we're going to talk about being loyal to each other as a couple and what that means and how difficult that is to do when you first get married and that kind of stuff that comes along. So this week's Bible verse for loyalty as a couple is Ephesians 5:21. Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. So
you said in the last episode that loyalty, another word for loyalty is devotion.
Right.
So being devoted to your spouse,
loyal to one another.
Because I think in our English language, we think of loyalty as you know, like not having an affair or something like that.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
And it
That would make
goes
sense.
so far beyond that.
Right. It's way beyond. It's way beyond just not having an affair. It's your every thought, your every desire, your everything you do is for your spouse. Everything you do is supposed to be for your spouse.
You want what's best for them. You want what they want.
Right.
Yeah. And that's hard to do because we're selfish people.
Yep.
I mean, you know, we just are born selfish. You think about an infant, they're all about them.
Yep.
Feed me now, change my diaper now, rock me now, hug me now, leave me alone now. You know, it's all about them, especially once they get to be 2. Oh my goodness. And they start talking. No,
Yeah.
do it myself. I mean, at least that's what ours were like.
Yeah. But you can control that.
Our son had a shirt that said, I think my name is No-No. He heard that so many times. It was just, ugh. But, you know, we're born with that selfish desire. Part of that is
Sin.
Well, yeah, all of it's sin, but also part of it is survival.
Yeah.
You know, an infant says, feed me now, change me now, because they're surviving. They're, you know, I need to grow. I need to learn. You know, they're constantly.
I need.
That's where it comes in.
Right. Learning to. So last week we talked about being loyal to yourself, which means being loyal to me, myself. But not only that.
And who God made you to be.
Right. But not only that, once you figure out who you are, it's easier to be loyal to your spouse. And being loyal to your spouse as a couple should enhance your marriage. It should enhance everything that you are as a couple, because once you become a couple and you become loyal to each other, you become one.
Right.
And then you can be loyal to just one, which is you together.
Right. As a single unit.
Right.
As one person. And, you know, I think for us, you know, we've talked about, you know, you going in the military.
But that was a decision we made together.
But it wasn't necessarily something I wanted. I mean, it wasn't necessarily something I was like, oh yeah, I want to be a military spouse. I want you to, you know, well, you know, when we had the commercial that said, you know, you're going to, you know, go in the reserves and it's, you know, 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks every summer. Yeah, well, that's not true. But, you know, I didn't, it's not really what I wanted, but I knew it was what you wanted. And I knew that you wanted it to make, not out of selfish gain, but to make our family better.
Yes.
So I wanted it for
It
you.
was a way for me to continue to be loyal to the family,
Right.
because it was a way as the provider for the family.
That's next week's episode.
Yeah.
Family
Okay.
loyalty.
Yeah. But even then, it was a decision we made as a couple. So we were loyal to each other in that thought process, and that in the way that we were discussing everything to make it happen.
Right. As better for us as a couple, better for our family as a whole.
Right.
And, I mean, I don't think you ever set out to go, you know what, when you told me when we got to Michigan and you'd finally done your training and gotten
Mhm.
to captain and, we're making decent money after we put you through school and everything, you said, I don't want you to have to work anymore.
Right.
I want you to do whatever you want to do. And I said, I don't know what I want to do. And you said, well, take a class. And I'm like, I don't know what class I want to take. And you said, basket weaving. I was, that's not me. I'm not a basket weaver. But,
No.
no. And he knew that. But he was encouraging me to go and find what I loved, what I wanted to do. And at the time, did you think, oh, well, that's going to go all the way to a doctorate degree
No.
and I'm going to pay for it?
Nope. But it didn't matter.
But because you wanted what I want
Right.
for me
Right.
individually.
She didn't know she wanted to be a doctor either.
I don't even know why I did that, because I've never really practiced and I don't use it. But I mean, I use it for us and for the family. I only treat my family because they can't see me. So, but it really wasn't well,
Excuse
are we
me.
boring you today?
No.
Excuse us.
No.
Told you I was extra sassy. So, I don't think sometimes being loyal to your spouse doesn't mean you get what you want,
No.
because
Being loyal
often,
to your spouse is a way for you to ensure that your spouse gets what they want.
right,
And if what they want, it falls in line with what you want as a couple, then that will make things that much better.
right. But, you're not always, I mean, you didn't always want me to go to class at night
No.
and be away from the family.
No. But
But that's when the class was. That's when I wasn't busy with the kids and the family and other things that needed to be done during the day.
right.
You didn't want me to sequester myself in our bedroom to study for hours on end when I had finals coming up.
But that's what I did when I was going through my training and all with the Air Force. I would sequester myself to the room after being gone to work all day, sequester myself to, make things happen. But
Right. And that's not always what you want for your as a couple or what you want as a family, but it is what's necessary to get to where you want to be. And
right.
I said this in our class. We teach a class at our church on Tuesday nights, and I said this in our class last week. I just remembered that, when we went through our premarital counseling and our whole big,
3 days.
2 weeks that we planned our wedding, we did get into premarital counseling, at least most of it. But I don't know why I remember this, but I vividly remember the pastor asking me, "Why do you want to marry him? What is your reason for marrying him?" And in my 18-year-old brilliance that I had at the time,
Or wisdom.
oh yes, my 18-year-old wisdom, I was so wise, not no idea what the world was about. I was fixing to learn.
Neither did I.
No, but we learned, but the hard way, like we learned everything. But my response to him in my 18-year-old wisdom was, well, if there's a cake, I want him to have the bigger piece. And our class went, oh, and I was like, it was just my way of saying I want him to have the best. I want the best for him. And if that means he's going to go away to military training for 6 months, then if that's what's best for him and his desire, then that's what I want for him. And I don't remember what your answer was.
I don't either.
Probably like, yeah, what she said. But you did the same for me. I mean, there were many times when I had a job that I needed to go to conferences and I needed to go, and it wasn't necessarily our trainings and things, and it wasn't necessarily what you wanted me to be gone for a weekend and not be home with you and the kids, but it was what I wanted to do.
Yep.
And you knew that that's what really fed my spirit, was going to those conferences and those trainings and being with other women. And I didn't know then that God was leading me down that path to women's ministry and speaking and writing books, but that was all part of his plan.
Yep.
And so, it's really desiring for your spouse what they desire for themselves.
Yes.
Now, if we've had a cake and over this 38 years,
I don't get the big piece anymore.
have I always given you the big? No, not necessarily. But I always do want what's best for you.
It depends on the cake as to whether or not I get a big slice or a small slice, because
we don't really like the same cakes.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
The one cake that I have, my biggest weakness is Mississippi mud.
Mississippi mud.
And it's loaded with sugar, folks.
And he's diabetic.
And I'm a diabetic. So.
But then again, that brings me to a point. Something I've been working on. Hopefully I'm getting there. I'm not there. But I have to keep reminding myself, because he's a diabetic and because I have that doctorate degree, I know what the results of that are. I know if you don't control your blood sugar, if you don't take care of yourself, I know where that's going to lead. And I don't want to be a widow, or I don't want you to, be missing a leg.
Right.
And us not be able to ride a motorcycle. That would be
still
horrible.
We'll still ride.
You don't ride with you not having a leg.
It's called false leg. It
Yeah.
still works.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. But I have started reminding myself when as our son's birthday was a week or so ago, or
I
last
indulged
month,
in a piece of cake.
He is indulged in more than one piece of Mississippi mud. And I'm like, you don't need, and then I stop and I have to say, I'm not the food police.
Yep.
I'm your wife. I'm not the food police. That's not something you told me. You have never said to me, hey, you're not the food police. Don't tell me what to do. No. But it's something I realize that I am doing that is not helping him, because he doesn't respond to guilt and negative messages.
Never have.
And I say, I just say, out loud, I'm not the food police. I'm your wife. That lets him know I'm not going to nag you about this, but I really wish you wouldn't indulge in something that's that bad for you.
Yep. And it's my piece that I got went from something like this to something like that. Just enough to get that sugar craving under control.
Chocolate.
Yep.
Chocolate, his weakness, chocolate. But, there's just, and that if you try to nag me or pressure me or push me to do something,
she's just going to dig her heels in.
I'm going to go from sass to I ain't moving, stubborn, bullheaded Cajun.
Yep.
And you cannot get a stubborn, bullheaded Cajun to move. We're like a donkey.
Yep.
I remember my grandma used to say, I'm not going to die. I'm going to turn into a old gray mule and kick people.
Still looking for that old gray mule.
I'm sure she's out there somewhere and she is giving somebody a heck of a hard time. And that's who I'm like. I'm like her. And so you just don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
I have said that to you.
Back on
once or twice.
Back onto loyalty and what it means to be loyal as a couple. There's one of the best ways you can be loyal to your couple is to pray for your spouse.
Yes.
And
let them hear you pray.
Yes.
Pray out loud.
not only is it a priority for you as an individual to pray for you yourself and your needs, but it's also something that you need to do for your spouse, and they need to hear you pray for them out loud, because that lets them know that, one, you're still there, you're still supporting who they are as an individual, you're still supporting their needs and desires and wants, and God will hear those prayers and will answer those prayers.
Yes.
Not necessarily today or tomorrow. Sometimes he says no, sometimes he says maybe, but when he does answer them in whatever way is within his will, then you know, and your spouse knows, that there's true loyalty there, and I can depend on this individual to be there to support me and to back me and
Right.
catch me when I fall. And
How many years did it take me to get to there? I think it was somewhere around 20,
8,
20,
8,
20.
8.
I remember specifically, I was watching Dr. Phil in Michigan when I was going through all this stuff with my family, going through my journey of beauty rising from brokenness. I know I keep mentioning my book. Y'all need to buy it. So anyway, come see us live and I'll sign it for you. But
Live in Tampa,
in Miami, in Arizona, and we're gonna be in Arizona just next week. So we're gonna be twice.
2 weeks.
So anyway, but I remember him say, because I was just this horrible green-eyed monster. Oh my goodness, you see these brown eyes, they can go green in a minute. And I'm not saying that they still don't, but I specifically remember him saying, you are not afraid of him leaving you. You are afraid that you won't be okay if that's his choice. And I was like, wow. Because I had all of this stuff from childhood abandonment from my father, abandonment issues with my mother taking me away and leaving me in daycare, and my grandfather passing away, and he was the father figure in my life, and so I had all these men who had left me, abandoned me. So I didn't think men could be trusted to stay, period. And we had been married 18 years. I believe it was 18 years. And I had this green-eyed monster. I mean, I'm telling you guys, I will tell you, and ladies, you can resonate with this, or guys, you might resonate with this. I would drive by his work to be sure his truck was in the parking lot, that he wasn't lying to me about being at work and somewhere else. That's how much distrust and jealousy I had, not of him, but of men in general. And when I heard that on Dr. Phil, which I don't endorse Dr. Phil and I don't listen to him anymore, but that was a time in my life when I was trying to
figure out who you were.
I was trying to heal. I just was so broken. So broken.
God uses everything.
And I just wanted to heal. I just wanted to be healed. And so I was looking everywhere. I was in counseling and watching Joyce Myers, watching Dr. Phil, reading 5 books at one time, trying to find healing, because I was so desperately wanting to be healed and free. And he said that, and I went, he's right. I don't trust me to be okay if he chooses, because I can't choose for him. He gets to choose. I can't choose for him to stay with me. That's my desire, but I can't make that choice for him. He has to get up and make that choice every day himself. Just like I have to get up and choose to stay with him every day. It's a choice. And if he, no, some days it's a hard choice. But if he chooses that, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm out, I have to figure out how I'm going to be okay. I have to figure out how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to be okay with him making that choice.
Right.
And I don't know how I would. I don't know. I just know that I can. I just know that I can be okay. I can take care of me. And I think that was instrumental in that time, because that was the time I was going through Beauty Rising from Brokenness, and I needed to come to the conclusion that I was okay with my family making the decision to walk away and not be part of our life.
Right.
And that was hard. And I remember specifically telling you, after my mother had made that choice, and my stepdad, my aunts and uncles, I said, I can't lose my sister. If I lose my sister, it will kill me. And I had to be okay with her making that choice too.
Yep.
And so I would be devastated. I would be a wreck. I don't know what I would do or where I would go, but I have to figure out how to make me okay with somebody else's choices, with your choices.
And learning that loyalty is something that is earned.
Yeah.
It's not so easily freely given. It's something that you have to earn, and by the choices you make each day allows your spouse to make the choice to be loyal to you.
Right.
And if you can learn to be loyal to yourself, then you can, and because you're loyal to yourself and the choices that you make allow you to do what is best for your spouse, that allows them to make the choice of being loyal to you as well.
Right. Right. And knowing that I can trust you not to betray me, not
Right.
to walk away, not to make a different choice. And that comes, well, for me, it came with time.
Right.
And how much time would he have to put in? How much time 38 years, am I going to trust you now? I don't drive by. Well, you don't go to work anymore.
I don't work anymore. Well, we're at work now.
I quit. Yes, this is true. But I quit doing that, because what am I going to do if his truck's not there? Go hunt him down and make a scene? Yeah, that's probably what I would have done. But I can't make him make a different choice.
Right.
I can't make his choices for him, and he can't make my choices for me.
We can only hope that the choices that we make individually are in line with the hopes and desires of your spouse.
Right. And in choosing, and that's, loyalty is a choice.
Yep.
Devotion, loyalty, it's a choice.
Yep.
You get up every day and you make a choice.
And as long as you are making that choice to be in reverence with your spouse, in reverence with God, and submitting to the way Christ wants you to submit toward each other and toward him, then that will in turn make your relationships that much stronger.
Yeah.
So this has been another week of Sweet Tea and
Sass.
You can find us on Facebook. You can find us at theclamongroup.com. You can find us at Married by Design. And
there's a booking link down there. You can just make an appointment on our calendar just to talk to us.
If you want to.
We're not going to say, hey, you got to pay us this much before you call us. Or no, if you need to talk to us, you can send us an instant message. We have that all the time.
Yep.
We get instant messages from people on, asking us questions all the time. And we're going to be honest with you.
We'll tell you what it is, bottom line up front.
Right. But, we're not here to make a buck.
We're not here to sugarcoat it either. We're going to be honest with you right up front.
And it's a business. I'm not going to lie to you. It is a business. We do coaching and everything as a business, but we have a free discovery call that you can just call and chat with us.
And figure out if it's going to work for you.
And you don't even have to chat with both of us. If you ladies just want to call me, reach out to me.
Yep.
If you want to call him, guys, reach out to him. If you just need a sounding board, that's what we're here for. Yep. We're here. It's a biz ministry is what I call it. It's a business and a ministry, and the ministry part is much more important than the business part.
Yep. So until next week, folks, love y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.